What's up guys, welcome to episode number 32 of the Formula 1 Noob career mode, this time from the highlight of the British motorsport calendar, the British Grand Prix from the Silverstone circuit. It's a track that I'm very familiar with and I have a lot of confidence with, even though the new track on iRacing is probably not quite to my liking just yet. I still need a little bit of track time over there. Over here on the Formula 1 game, I am absolutely dialed in, as we got our upgrades that we requested come through. So we got the two majors going onto the car, the major engine and the major aero, so that's good. We should get the other major aero there by the next episode, and we've got those two majors and the ultimate over on the chassis side of things that we might look at coming into. So we've got to keep our fingers crossed, but for now it's time for us to head into qualifying for the British Grand Prix.
It's time once again then for qualifying here at Silverstone on what we're hoping will be a tight contest for pole position. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
So let's jump straight into it then. This is qualifying 2, it's late in the session. Going out for a second run. We tried to do a lap in on the medium tyres, but it looks like we're going to go and do a lap on the soft tyres here, just to stamp our authority on the field a little bit here. As you can see up the top there, qualifying is complete. As we go purple to the first sector. Now we already have the top time in the session, which was crazy considering we did it on the medium tyre. As we come through the old turn 1, coming up to the end of the second sector here through Maggots, Beckett's and then to Chapel. And we go purple to the second sector as well, absolutely blitzing our previous time. As we come into the final sequence of corners, all the way down to third gear here. Normally it's second gear, we took it in third this time. We come through the final corner and across the line. It was green. And it's pole position. Or at least for the end of qualifying 2 here. Have a quick little look at the results, and we are at the top. We've got our teammate Valtteri sitting there in P2. Lucas Weber is sitting in third. As I'm taking a while there to scroll through the names here. Scroll down a little bit further, we can see Charles Leclerc sitting in 7th after qualifying 2 there. And Devin Butler and our old teammate George Russell were knocked out in Q1. And now we move on to our Q3 lap. And again, we are sitting on top at the moment. And we have to go for a second run at it to try and improve on our time. As we head onto the first of the DRS straights now. DRS wide open, you can hear the breeze flying past the cockpit. We go purple to the first sector. The checkered flag has fallen on the session. Got a little bit caught up in third gear there. My upshift has been a little bit dicky lately, so shifting up has been a little bit of a challenge. Down to 7th gear for the old turn 1. Run a little bit over the strip there, which will have lost us a couple of tenths. But we'll see how it unfolds when we come across the second sector marker here. Across the line, and it is purple to the second sector as well. So again, we are on an absolutely flying lap here. Now let's see if we can put it all together for this third sector. We run a little bit wide coming out of that corner and into the final little array of corners here, the club section I think it's called. Come out of the final corner, and it's another green time there.
Fantastic. You've got pole.
And we've got pole position for the British Grand Prix.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. A Mercedes, Verstappen and Lucas Weber.
So we got the pole, Lucas Weber in third, Valtteri Bottas sitting there in 8th, and Charles Leclerc all the way down in P9. We have a look at the rivalry update here, and it looks like we're going to be in with a chance of getting at least one of these done. Actually, no, I just got my calculations wrong. We're going to be a couple points short on both of them if we get the all 5 boxes ticked. So we're going to have to wait till the end of the next episode to beat our rivalries. As we see all of the other improvements to our stats there as well.
Well done. Very solid results.
Going to do
good for the
one
race.
last quick check of the weather here for the race. It's looking like it's going to be all cloudy. Wouldn't expect anything less. So let's get into it.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the top step of the Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. We should talk about Alfa Romeo. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. It's Mercedes in pole position there, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Weber, Gasly, Lewis Hamilton, and Vettel, Raikkonen, Bottas, Leclerc, and Sergio Perez, Norris, Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Hülkenberg, Butler, Albon, George Russell, and Kevin Magnussen. Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
A couple penalties there, especially for Daniel Ricciardo all the way down in last position again. Now he doesn't look like he's been having very much luck with these components.
Okay, this is the team's
Going to
home
do one
race.
quick
We're
look at
relying on you to
the
impress
strategy
today.
here. And wow, we are not going to be looking at very much tyre wear at all. So it's time to get into the race. As we're getting ready here, we go to 5 red lights. And we're underway for the British Grand Prix. We get an average sort of a launch there, but it looks like we've got the advantage over Verstappen. Weber followed us into P2 there. As we come through to the tightest section on the track. Normally I'll drop down the first gear there, but I thought I could take it in second quite nicely, and it looks like I did. Just come thundering down the first of the DRS straights. Come into what used to be the final complex of corners to the old pit straight. We build up a lot of speed
Okay,
here
that's a good start. Keep it up.
to old turn 1, all the way up into 8th gear, 309 kilometers an hour. Now into Magnussen, Begets and Chapel. It's a fairly difficult section to nail absolutely perfectly, and I definitely didn't nail it there, but it was good enough that I could stay ahead of Lucas Weber there. Almost got a full second on him already. As we come around to the final sector for the first time to complete the first lap. Now, obviously, because we're going to be the first one across the line, we are going to get the first fastest lap of the race. Now we jump onto lap 7, where we come in for our pit stop.
Go, exit now. We're racing on the exit. Go now.
And we've been held up quite badly there by Verstappen and Weber coming into the pits. So the big advantage that we had coming into the pits, we had a really big advantage there coming into the pits, has just been absolutely nulled and voided out. And now we make our way
After
out
these
of the
tyres
pits.
now, we want to finish the race on this compound.
Looks like we're going to have some clear track around us. And now we move on to lap number 9. We're right behind Lance Stroll in the Renault. Make a very easy pass on his left. And lap 10, we go after his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel goes defensive, but we dive it up the inside. Run a little bit wide here. He's coming back on our left, but we have the inside run for this corner. He's turned right in on us as we go purple to the first sector. Now lap
Some
11,
information on Russell. They are
George
out of the
Russell
race.
and Kevin Magnussen are out of the race. And they're teammates. I had to wait until the end of the race to see this in the replays. Looks like George Russell's blown his engine on. He's been absolutely smashed by Kevin Magnussen. Let's take a second look at this from the helicopter. Those two Toro Rossos very lucky not to get caught up in it. In fact, it looks like one of them did get caught up in it very slightly, but that's the two Williams cars out of this race. What an absolute implosion. Absolutely crazy scenes there as the two Williams cars are out of the British Grand Prix. We're on the last lap of the race now. Very quick little highlights package here for you guys. It's very hard to show a bit of action when all we're doing is storming away from the front. As you can see, we've got almost this entire straightaway as a gap over Lucas Weber and P2 there. When he crosses the timing marker there, we can see that it's just over 6 seconds. It's absolutely monumental. But Lucas Weber is caught in a massive battle there with Max Verstappen. As we come through the old turn 1 for the final time.
Less than
Into
a lap of
Maggots and
fuel now.
Beckett's.
The tank is empty.
And through Church onto what I believe to be the Hangar Straight. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong. Very shortly we should start to hear that music to intensify. There it is, right on cue. As we come through the final complex of corners. We cross the line and we get the win.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So there's the podium, myself,
And
Lucas
now
and
let's take a look at the
Verstappen.
drivers' standings. And the championship leaders
And we
secured more
finished
points
the
today,
race
pushing their
with
lead
a
out
time
even
penalty
further
there.
at the top
We
of the
sped going
standings.
into the
So,
pits.
Anthony Davidson, who would
which
you
is
rank
why
as your
that
driver
was
of the
cut
day?
out.
Daniel Ricciardo
I
certainly
had to
impressed me
double
today.
check it
An
just to make sure it was
incredible
right.
performance.
Let's move on to the
But yeah, we
constructors.
got a 5-second
Mercedes
penalty
continue to extend their
speeding
lead.
into the pits.
It's been an
Lucas
absolutely
Weber
wild
in
weekend
P2
of
there,
Formula One
Valtteri
action.
Bottas, our teammate,
I
managing
can't wait to see
P6.
what's next.
Charles Leclerc all the way back in P8 for this race. We'll scroll down even further. See Devon Butler down in 18th, so effectively finishing last. And George Russell and Kevin Magnussen, the two Williams, out in that absolute implosion that happened between them. We have a look at the driver standings now. We are still clean and clear in front with, I think that's a 50-point margin if I can read that correctly. It's a little bit fuzzy for me right now. It's like late at night and I've been awake all day. And in Constructors, we have a huge lead as well over Alfa Romeo. Hopefully we can hold on to that going through the rest of the season. But now it's time for our interview with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You had a pretty close finish with Lucas. What's it like racing a former teammate? How does it feel, sharing a Formula 1 podium with your old F2 teammate? It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? Great. Well, that's everything.
So now it's time to go and check out the updates to the rivalry and the resource points. And we got 4 ticks of the boxes there. So yeah, by qualifying we could have Valtteri Bottas beaten, and by the race we'll have Charles Leclerc beaten as well. And if I believe so correctly, we're going to get 600-point bonus here for achieving the team goal, which brings our total up to 2100, which is a nice little total of resource points there.
Great work. That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up.
Now we're going to go straight over to the R&D tree to see what upgrades we're going to do, and I believe we're going to go straight to the chassis. We're going to go right for that ultimate upgrade for the front nose cone structure there. It should prove very beneficial to us to get it done. We still have 648 resource points left over after that. So I think if we look over to the engine department over there, there is a couple options, or at least one option that we could go for. We could also have a look at getting something over here in durability, but it looks like we don't have enough resource points for just about anything. So we're going to go over here to the engine tree, and we can see that we don't even have enough points for that one. Scroll down here to the aerodynamic department, and streamlined suspension arms is right in our price range quite nicely. So I think we are ending up going to settle on the suspension arm drag upgrade there. And that's going to end out this episode here, guys. Thank you for coming out and giving it a watch. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also go and check out the previous videos if you haven't done so yet to see how we've come up to be in this area. And until the next episode, I'll see you guys next time.